enough. As good enough.
Welcome to our weekly podcast, Good Enough, with your co-hosts, Sam Lewis and Mark Lips. Our goal on Good Enough is to interview guests who do not let being perfect keep them from achieving their dreams. Whether it be writing a book, growing a business, achieving some other success, all of these people are heartfelt, passionate, and good enough to be noticed and guests on our podcast. We welcome them, and we also thank you for joining us today. Sammy!
I have a feeling that since we started this podcast, you and I have got a lot hairier in different places than normal.
No, I have all the hair where I want it. You're the one who's missing a little hair, but I have hair everywhere,
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you're looking in the mirror and you're honest, your forehead has really advanced tremendously.
That is true. I'm thinking of
course,
using this for marketing.
Man, we're gonna have this guy today.
Yeah, I know. I think that's cool. That's great. That's a friend of yours, right?
Well, I don't know him. I know his mother and father.
All right. Well, that's age we're getting now. We know everybody's mother and father.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right.
Hey, listen, by the way, where is it? By the listeners, viewers, welcome to Good Enough. Thank you for joining us. Really, we appreciate it. And we just want to say thank you. And of course, recognize our sponsors, the Happy Friday Neighbors newsletter that comes out every week. I wish you guys would email me we'll have the email up and get on the newsletter, because you could probably send me good content for my newsletter. And then the Right Choice Farm Stay and Catering, which we do. If you ever come to this neck of the woods and you happen to be here and the timing's right, you can join us at our Friday night dinners in the barn, which is set up like a piano barn.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway, Sam?
We're brought to you in this neck of the woods, by Pride Staff, a full service staffing agency right here in Central Illinois. And we do light industrial, office admin, and warehouse. And we do some heavy executive level recruiting as well.
So your weight is in the executive level, your industrial is in the light level. Okay. We know where you know your priorities.
So, yeah. So, and we're hearing all, people are concerned about the, future of the economy. And so they don't want to hire people. And I'm telling them, well, this staffing agency is perfect time to work with them, because it's contingent staffing. And so if the economy doesn't work out like you want, then, these people are on my payroll, not your payroll. So that's my plug there. Also, one of our other sponsors is the Finally Friday Philosophy, the PPP, which is a newsletter I write, and have some contributors. And, Mark, it's a funny thing how many people have told me they read this thing, and but they never, it's on Substack, so I expect them to like it or share. But they go, "Oh yeah, I read it all the time." I'm like, "Why don't you like it?" Oh, I don't know.
I every now and then get a thank you for posting something about somebody or an event or whatever, and people tell me my newsletter reaches. I mean, one guy called me today and he said, "Man, you are a marketing genius, man. That newsletter is blah 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 blah."
If you were a marketing genius, he'd be paying you money.
I know. I said, no, if I was a marketing genius, there would be a subscription.
Oh, yeah.
But
you'll get a kick out of this. So I went to Logan Street Church on Sunday for Easter Sunday.
Oh.
And it's kind of a little bit sad for me, because there's less and less people there that I know. And you know why?
Well, no, I know they left. They left the church.
Well, I'd like to think that.
I'm just saying that. Okay.
Yeah, I know. But I ran into Jim and Sharon Miller, and yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, and
did he ask about me?
He every now and then. I see him about once a year anymore, but he used to ask about you because he knew that we were friends. But Sharon was telling me, she's, I was just glad to see her and everything. She go, "Oh, by the way, I read that thing you post." I said, "What thing?" "Oh, that posting you do." I said, "What?" And that it suddenly dawned on me. She said, because she said something about the poetry. And I goes, "She just read my Substack." I'm like, "What the?"
They were always pretty, you know, cutting edge. They were,
Oh
they
yeah,
were, so she probably knows about. But you didn't tell her about my newsletter, so she could get on my newsletter and keep
I could barely
what
get
you're
over the
doing.
shock that she was reading my Substack.
Oh, come on.
I was greedy.
That's okay.
I was
Uh,
greedy.
by the way, that's great. Logan Street. I remember going to Logan Street with you because I left my parents were Presbyterian, went to the Presbyterian church,
Yeah,
Robert Bag, remember,
yeah.
and my parents were married in that church and all that. They broke off from the Methodist, which the other side of our family all went to the Methodist church. Um, Logan Street Baptist Church, for me, I enjoyed that because you guys had fun. It was just fun to be there.
Well,
Woo!
I always felt like it. I mean, it was always, I always
And you
felt,
were very youth oriented, I thought.
yeah, yeah. But I think it changed a little bit, later on. But I do feel like that was kind of, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being there. But
I got to tell you, these churches, they need to become very youth oriented, almost think of themselves as, I don't know, a camp for kids. I just think that if they want to hold it's kind of like our service clubs. If they really want to engage with young people and teach them Christianity and all of that, uh, make it fun for them to be there. Engage them while they're there. I just read a stat: 45% is the believe in Christianity. Believe go to church essentially of our
well, there's
population.
that's two different things, isn't it?
It's dropped.
Believing Christianity and going to church are two different things, I think.
Right. No, my mom, even though my dad was in the choir and they went to church, but my mom got so frustrated. She just said so many people there are hypocritical that she read the Bible every day, but she didn't go to church every week, you know.
Yeah.
So
And I've been, the thing that's troubled me lately is some of these pastors in these mega churches talking about, how empathy is a strategic weakness. And I'm like, what in the hell has gone?
I mean, kind of seems to be the way of the world right now.
I know, but that's, the way I read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, I don't, I don't see that. I don't see that.
You
Just my
realize
opinion.
you realize two of those four, I'm John Mark. Just saying that John
Well,
and
that
Mark.
changes my whole
Yeah,
perception of you.
yeah. So anyway,
So
here.
we're going to talk to this guy, Mark.
Yeah.
If I don't think it should come out whether either one of us have done acid.
No. Okay.
But reading this book, I felt like I was doing acid. So I'm telling you, I got
Good.
Jackson's got
I
Jackson or AJ. Which should we call him, Jackson or AJ? Because it's a pseudonym.
I say
Let's
when
ask
out
him.
in public. I mean, obviously he's AJ out in public. He's Jackson with your parents, his parents, and
Hey,
probably.
by the way, I bought this book at Bob's Bay Books, and I think I would like to do a podcast with the owner. It's a
Yeah,
cool bookstore downtown. I went
that,
down. It
that's
was,
a great idea with a
yeah,
bookstore owner. I have a bookstore owner, small one in Pages in Manhattan Beach. She would love to do I bet
yeah.
you
I think that'd be a cool.
trials and tribulations. And I would like to talk to him because how do they stay
I don't
alive?
know, but she had several people in there when I was there that day, and
Well,
the front part of the
college
store is
downtown.
all like
Yeah.
uh, local authors or self-published authors, and then she had a book swap program going on, and then she had, I don't know, I just was like, yeah, I gotta hook up with her.
Yeah. By the way, I need you gearheads to come out here and help me with my riding lawnmower because
What's wrong with it?
I was riding the other day and all of a sudden it goes the left tire flew off. and I just got the parts for it.
Were you singing? Let me ask you this: were you singing? You picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel.
See, that's gearhead music. See, that's what I'm saying. You guys who race cars.
We had a good night Friday night, first night out, and he ended up ninth.
Oh,
And
wow.
he improved his time from the beginning of the night to the end of the night.
Yeah.
He improved his time by 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Three
He's
seconds.
kind of in the bigs now, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
He was a little bit nervous, but he got with it, and I was very impressed.
All right.
All right, let's go meet
talk to Jack.
Mr.
AJ.
AJ.
Yeah. The
So
man, the
here's
myth.
our first question. Did we call you AJ or Jackson?
I'll go by AJ for the sake of keeping everything on brand.
Okay, all right.
No, I agree. I agree, Jack.
So AJ, where are you at right now?
I am in my home office in Urbana, Illinois.
Champaign-Urbana.
Mm-hmm.
So
my brother used to run the Fox affiliate in Springfield, and I think it was the ABC in Champaign, or was it the reverse? Yeah.
Yeah,
Rick,
I think that's right.
So I'm just glad you're wearing pants in this Zoom call.
Yeah, no, I have.
Well, I know his dad, and you can't believe how glad I am that he's wearing pants.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, let's so Sam, introduce this young man to our
AJ Humphreys is the author of this book that I read, and he's the author of what, 4 other books, 3 other books,
4, yeah.
4 other books, a series. And as he said, he lives in Champaign-Urbana area here in Central Illinois. I got his name from his mother, who I'm in a business roundtable group with. And so we've been talking about it a while. And then when AJ published this book, it's really just came out. I mean, I just got a copy last Thursday, I think.
Yeah.
So I missed you at Bob's a Bay Books. So I thought, we talk a little bit about the book and about the process. And AJ also owns a publishing company. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah. Dark Journeys Press was started last year.
Is that specific to a genre of book, or would you take something from Sam and I?
Don't answer that question. You're safer not to answer that question, AJ.
I have a question for you that I should have asked beforehand. What's the language audience for this podcast?
It's because here's how I was going to start our conversation. This book is fucking trippy. Very. What the fuck is going on in this book, AJ? Right. Yeah, what the fuck is going on in this book?
We decided we don't need to take any acid. We'll just read your book. So
I felt like I was on acid while I was reading it.
You're not the first person to say that.
Well, so I got a gazillion questions on this, and so we don't pay for the extended Zoom. So this is going to go really fast. We're going to have.
Yeah, but also I want to finish up. But yeah, Sam, I want to finish up. He's got a publishing company. He's written 5 books. We can't even get one out. And,
well, you got to write it first, Mark.
Well,
I don't know if you know that.
There is that detail, but would love to. I mean, so you publish people's books?
So far it's just for my books, and I have a buddy over in the UK that is probably going to be the first person I publish outside of myself. We're talking about a haunted Christmas story, kind of bringing back the Christmas ghost story and having it traverse from the UK to America.
Okay, so AJ, what for our listeners out there, because we all want to write a book. I think that's one of those, all guys, or I wouldn't say all guys, but guys like Sam and I, there's 2 things in life we want. We want to write a book, and we want to own a bar. So, I mean,
Man, I fit in good here.
so
I don't
if
know about
if
I
someone
don't
wants
know
to
about owning a
book,
bar.
but if someone wants to publish a book, um, what do you require from them? You need the book, obviously, but then what do you do for them? You actually put it in print and make
Yeah.
copies.
Yeah, well, yeah. What does owning a publishing company mean? That was what was going to be my
So,
question.
publishing company is exactly what it sounds. It is responsible for publishing novels, novellas, anthologies, short stories, you name it. As I think we're nice. All right.
Hey, this is a podcast. This is a podcast. Nobody's going to see it.
Okay, cool. Um, as I think we're seeing with a lot of companies in America, self-supporting, self-sustaining industry is growing, and that's how Dark Journeys Press is starting, is to just have this entity that provides a more formal approach to everything. It has, when you go to the bookstore, you're going to see all these gorgeous spines, but usually at the very top or the very bottom, you're going to see a logo. It's going to be Tor, Random House, Penguin, you name it. When people don't see that, it's surprising how often that steers them away from something. They just don't see one of these big four now logos or one of their imprints.
I know.
So,
I mean, I've fallen guilty of that. I mean, there's so many, you know, and I think I'm going to answer your question why I think that is. And I thought about this a lot because, and you're right.
Get past.
You're right. Well, when you look at all the bazillions of books out there, you're looking for someone to be a curator for you, to filter for you, so you're not reading a bunch of books, wasting your time and money on books that aren't readable. Because there's a lot
yeah,
of books out there that aren't readable.
yeah, and I think myself included, readers have been hoodwinked at times because the traditional route for publishing um, is super black and white. You've got to follow their formula. You have to do everything the way they want. And usually, it all starts with a literary agent who's going to try and get you in the door to the publishing companies. Mm-hmm. And most of those literary agents don't want to read more than 3 to 5 pages of the first 3 to 5 pages of your book.
Right.
So if you can't hook someone in the first 3 to 5 pages,
that's a good comment right there.
Yeah. And because sometimes
with a book, you're pitching an idea. Just like when we pitch TV shows, if you couldn't get them in the first opening couple of lines in your pitch about what you want to produce or make, you're toast. You're out.
Well, yeah, and from the behind the scenes industry standpoint, but I think film is one of the greatest examples, because we've watched, at least in my 32 years, only, the big studios making blockbusters to Oscars regularly going to small independent studios and directors, because yes, you may not be hooked within the first 10 minutes in the theater, but that's by design, because they don't care if you're going to lose your attention span in 10 minutes. They want the people who are going to stick for a story.
So on your book, along that lines, and you publish it through your publishing business. So you hired people to work. You got somebody to edit this, right? And then somebody to, I think in acknowledgments, you acknowledge an agent of sorts, right?
No,
I forget how you said it, but it wasn't like an agent, but I thought he's saying was his agent. I don't know.
I don't know what that would be.
Anyway,
Sam,
No, I'm on my own. I do everything myself, contracting out for the editor, the cover design.
Gotcha.
My
Sam, how
first
many fingers, Sam? How many fingers?
What? 3.
The so look, I still want to ask a business questions, and I got it, Sam. I before we get off this publishing thing, because this is stuff I want to know. Do I have to give you money up front, or do you get a percentage of sales?
um as I get into that more, I'm looking to hopefully offer both. Um Essentially the I think the standard that I have fallen in love with most right now is set by the audiobook community. Because it seems daunting. It seems, how am I going to pay someone to, like an actor, to record and make this product and edit it for me and all that? That's a lot of work. Um, but to help independent authors such as myself, they offer a royalty split. So in that regard, there doesn't have to be upfront costs.
That's
I think I would only ever charge an upfront cost if someone wanted to invest in their book, in the sense that they really wanted to work with me, but I couldn't afford to do the things they wanted to do. Then I think I broached that subject.
yeah.
Is
Yeah.
there money to be made in this?
Yes,
If
yes,
you get it.
definitely. Because I mean, at the end of the day, even if the only books I publish are my own, I'm paying the printer and the shipping to my door.
Yeah.
Like
Uh,
everything else comes back to me. I'm not paying an agent, a proofreader, a line editor, a developmental editor. Like, it goes on and on and on,
right. But an agent gets you through doors that maybe you can't get through. That's
right?
it.
But if you're willing to put in the legwork, I don't know if you two have seen the film Glorious. It's, yeah, was that a head nod?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was on Shudder for a bit. I think that was its primary streaming audience. J.K. Simmons voices a cosmic glory hole in a truck stop bathroom.
No, I've not seen that. No, I think.
It is wild. It's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's not the Glorious I was thinking of. But I
You're
know
talking about, you were thinking of that Easter movie.
there was one of those at the beach where we used to live. So I have heard about that place.
Okay. So the script writer for that movie was Joshua Hull, and through my journey, I got to meet him, and then I kept meeting him. And then I asked him for a signed copy of his debut novel for my newsletter as a giveaway. He was happy to do it, and I'd now consider him a friend. He owned the Scarlet Lane Brewing Company, a horror-themed brewery in McCordsville, Indiana.
Wow, Sam, you got to go there.
Unfortunately,
Where's
they shuttered their
McCordsville?
doors back in January. It was a tough
Yeah.
call that Josh had to make.
Yeah.
That said, Josh is having a lot of success, and it's good to know I have someone like that who can answer the questions the same way I know some authors who've had success with audiobooks, and they've answered my questions, and now mine are in development, which that's the best way. Learn from other people's mistakes and then share your own.
AJ, right, exactly. Learn from other people's mistakes is a good one, as well as your own. But AJ, you need, since you're so close with Sammy there, you need to talk to him, because he literally has the book already ready to go.
It's not ready. It's
Well, yes,
written.
you keep saying that.
Yeah.
He's got these incredible poems that he could put together an anthology of poems.
You're very
And-
kind, Mark. Are you
and-
dropping acid?
Yeah, but no, AJ, you should read some of his poems.
No, I'd be
They're-
happy to.
I mean, some of them are, but
If they don't rhyme, Mark don't like them.
yeah, unless it rhymes.
He
And
thinks they got to rhyme,
for some reason, his do not rhyme. I don't know why. He'll make them like they slide across the page like that or something. So
little
basically, you look at it
Cummings.
graphically, I guess that's what poets do, but it doesn't rhyme at all. You're going, well, shit, I could write a poem, you know?
And I told him he could. He can.
Hey, Sam, I'm putting something in my newsletter, and I'm going to say in there, Sam would make this into a haiku, you know? But
did you study, AJ? Did you study writing in college or?
Yeah.
So,
oh,
writing was always my passion.
That's what your
always
mom
wanted
had
to-
said.
Yeah, my mom's mom published a book of poems, and I should have put them on my desk. But so she's got two little books there, and ever since then I kind of I mean, she gave me the Harry Potter books, and I fell in love with R.L. Stine and Paul Zindel, kind of getting into a little bit of that creepy stuff early on. And I knew I wanted to tell stories. I'm going to be a bit of a cynic and a nihilist here, but I think as I got deeper into the American education system, you're peppered with the idea of, sure, you like doing that, but how are you going to make money off of it?
Oh, that's
go do that. You need to go make money off of it.
By the way, that's a very 50s way of thinking.
Yeah.
1950s. Oh, my dad quit music because he got married, had a kid, so he had to go back, get a business degree. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems like now, though, more and more people want to follow their passions.
I think it's a scaling issue, definitely, that there's more people and all of that, but I think what I tried, so I went to the University of Missouri as a honors journalism freshman, so I was leapfrogging thousands of other students to get right into classes, and the first lecture was all about if it bleeds, it reads, sensationalism sells. And I was there trying to be a sports writer because I thought, well, if I'm going to write for a paper or a magazine, I want to be Rick Riley, you know? So that really disheartened me. And then the fact that I never went to a single class after that and still got a B+ was kind of very telling.
That means you just turned in the work then. You turned in the assignments.
Yeah. I mean,
So, I mean, obviously you knew enough to turn in the assignments and do good work. The guy goes, wow, I don't guess. If I was the teacher.
Still a lecture. It was a lecture of 400 of us. I mean, it's not like him or the TAs knew who any of us were.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
Yeah.
So
did you do any workshopping with your early writing stuff, or maybe you still do workshop? You know.
Yeah. So
that's good.
So as I progressed, I graduated school with a political science psychology degree, and I thought I was going to do law school. But then I talked to a couple lawyers and a professor of law from Notre Dame. And he especially made me feel like that was the wrong career path for me. I already taken the LSAT twice, gotten letters of recommendation. That was the plan. So I backed out, thought I was going to do a psychology graduate program, but I needed to work for a little while. That's when I started really writing a novel for the first time. I've yet to finish that novel. And the reason I haven't finished it, and this is a lesson for anyone trying to write the shitty draft. You can't, my journalism high school teacher said, if your first draft is not shitty, then you spent too much time on it. And that to me, when I remembered that and I made that switch, and I actually just moved back to Champaign and was starting in the healthcare sphere with my family, and that hit, I'm like, okay, I gotta start something and finish it. So I kind of just put that aside. I still have hopes to get back to it, but it's so big, it's so deep that I need to commit. And right now, it's easier for me to just start a new project and commit to writing that first draft, get it done. And Trip was actually the first time I finished a manuscript. Um, I had dealt with depression and mental health problems since about 17, 16. Uh, Numerous issues. Finally, right before COVID, had a little breakdown during Thanksgiving. Stormed off in the rain. It was great. But what came out of that was a lot of love and support and help from my family. I got into counseling. I got on medication, and what I said was, I want to write something that helps someone explain their mental health problems to someone else without, when they've struggled to have the words or without having to say anything, just being able to like hand them a book and go, this is kind of what it's like. This is kind of what I've been dealing with. And it amalgamated into a lot of research and knowledge from my own experiences and unfortunately friends' experiences, and lost a few friends on the way. But that's kind of where the start of the book comes from.
Well, I felt like Glenn was somebody you really knew. I mean, maybe he was made up, but it's like,
Glenn,
yeah,
Glenn's a puppy dog. Glenn is really like, he's your loyal companion. Like,
yeah.
there are two characters specifically in that book based on animals, and Glenn is the dog.
No
And
kidding.
yeah, and Hill is the snake.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there's a lot of verbiage around her, the way she moves and slinks and slithers. That
yeah. I was, I got a dozen questions. First of all, I mean, I've been to Devil's Lake.
Mhm.
Uh, I didn't hike around it or anything, but I can famously claim that I was at it's south of Delton Lake,
Uh-huh.
the Dells, and I've been to the Dells the day it drained. When I was up
Oh,
there, yeah, several years ago, the dam broke, so I happened to be on the interstate when I heard about it. Anyway, but that's a very, it's not that far up the interstate, but it can get secluded fast up there,
yeah.
in Wisconsin.
Yeah, and I think there's something to um the revenants of the wilderness, of the solitude in wilderness, that is equal parts beautiful and unsettling. And
Yeah, I
that's what
think.
I love about settings in nature, and you'll find that in pretty much in the majority of my stories. You will find a lot of nature there.
So the other question I had, like, I was trying to follow. I mean, I was kind of laughing at, like, when they drop the acid, then the time stamps start to change.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
So
yeah, like there's an example. So is
yeah,
that? I mean, I assume that had something to do with that, right?
yeah. So the first the first draft of Trip, like I said, finished right or started right before COVID, finished like first very close to COVID start. And I decided I realized I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So I went back and edited and I researched traditional publishing. Fast forward, I upstairs I have 69 letters of rejection nailed to my wall from 69 different literary agents.
Wow.
That was really hard. That was disheartening. And I threw Trip in the drawer and said, I'm not giving up, but also I don't have the emotional bandwidth to keep fighting for this story at this time. So I started my 4-part series, Season of the Monster, which is kind of a Salem's Lot type tale in the Black Hills of South Dakota. But I don't like modern vampires. I think they're very overly sexualized, and they're not monsters anymore. They're like, people all the time say, oh, they're just misunderstood. But then they're not a monster. So
Understood.
So I made a wasp, a vampiric wasp type creature that does the same thing, except they come out in the daylight. And if you know anything about wasps and the way they operate as a collective, they do everything for the queen. The queen is the hierarchy. There are workers, there's drones, there's soldiers. There's even a queen slayer if need be.
Oh, that's
to protect the hive.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of took all of those facets and applied them to a monster just completely from scratch. And that was really fun. And that too got me out of that funk. So when I was done with this whole new creation, coincidentally, I was reading Whale Fall by Daniel Kraus. And I promise him I'm getting to the time. But if you've not read Whale Fall by Daniel Kraus, it's an amazing story.
Whale Fall?
Whale Fall. It's in reference to when a whale dies at sea, they tend to float and fall and be decomposed by all the marine life. So there's almost like a ashy type substance that falls with them. And in the story, this kid is going scuba diving to look for his father's remains where he drowned himself. And the story is told by the PSI gauge of his so every time a chapter ends, the new one starts with the PSI gauge. And I love the way that created moments that I thought felt very in line with hallucinogenic, psychedelic, what's that? I can't remember the third one. Anywho, fell in line with that. So one of the problems I kept hearing about my first draft was that it didn't pace well enough. So this allowed me to flip up the pacing and focus on moments in time. Even when the second half of the book, there's not necessarily moments in time, but they're moments being collected, moments adding up, if you will.
So then when you went to Memento Mori, you changed up the.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, I apologize, but I was like, I know he's doing something there, but I don't know quite. I mean, it's obvious a movement of time.
Yeah.
Of sorts.
So
by then you're on the second hit of acid or what is it? Lolly? Did you call
Lolly?
it?
Yeah.
Lolly?
Oh man, I would not want to play with that. But it to me, so Memento Vivere is remember to live. That's the first part of the book, and that's where he's at. He's depressed. He's lost people in his life, and he needs to remember to live. But part two is Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. That death is part of life. It does come for us all. And in that, to me, it's a weird thing. I'll be brief, but I've had a lot of anxiety with time throughout my life. That time often makes me. I start counting minutes, seconds, all this stuff. It's annoying. So once I kind of stopped focusing on that, it really alleviated a lot of constant stress, that static refrain that I couldn't really feel like I was escaping. And I felt that, I don't look back, and as a happier version, I don't look back and see, oh, this is what I was doing at 4 o'clock. It's like, this is just what I was doing. And that's another moment I get to collect and add up, which is a freeing feeling. And I wanted him to kind of have that. Also, also he doesn't have his phone anymore, so he couldn't tell
that's true. Right.
So it's interesting.
There were times I couldn't tell, and I was really reading this fast. I was telling Mark I had bought it on Thursday, and I was going to take it with me to Mount Vernon over the Easter weekend. I forgot it here at the house. So I've been cramming this thing since Monday. And I was reading really fast, but there are times like, is he tripping, or did Glenn really get killed? Is he, when he says demon, is that a demon, or is that Artie after his ass, or, and so I suspect, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I suspect that was on purpose, that you're blending these things together to keep me off balance a little bit as I'm reading.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it's meant to. He doesn't have balance. You're in his head. I don't want you to feel balance. I want the reader to be vicariously engrossed in what is happening, especially because it's so different from the first person they met, that first time they interact and get inside Galen's head.
Right.
Do you, AJ, if you look at writers, and we've interviewed a lot of writers, they all have quirks. They all have and you've unpacked a lot here about yourself. So I'm proud of you on that you're able to talk about it, and you can look inward and see yourself and all of that. Do you think that that's almost to be an artist, almost to be a writer specifically, but to be an artist like this, that you almost have to be somewhat bent?
I think for the horror, spooky, supernatural community, I think we're all traumatized in one way or another. And that's why I love hanging out with the horror community, because we're all traumatized. So we know how to not traumatize people. We tend to be very kind to one another.
Yeah.
And it's a good space. I do think it is the same as a writer, though, as like a professional athlete. You have to have something a little loose upstairs,
or just
allows you to push past the governor and do that extra step, do the thing that that for some reason many of us feel will be laughed at for, when that's ridiculous. Like, and people feel it in everything, whether it's writing or music or basketball or hockey or singing or dancing, that someone's going to make fun of them for chasing their passion. So they don't. And I waited till I was like 27 to do it. And I wish I hadn't. But
that's one of the problems with public schools is some guy will come up and say, you can't do, blah, blah, blah. And it just destroys the person right there, because they don't have the maturity yet to rise above those kinds of comments. And
do you, let me ask you some questions about the craft itself. Are you get up every morning and write?
What's your
pages? Are you, are you Jack Kerouac writer? You write this crazy weekend and fueled by amphetamines and
no, so I'm almost a year sober now, so the alcohol is no longer a part of the writing process, but in starting this press and this publishing business, there's a lot more going on now than just writing. There's bookkeeping.
Oh yeah,
And
it's a
events.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, you started a business. Plus, I think once you get more people involved, so you just write it all, just to answer Sam's question, you don't have a schedule. You just, when you feel the urge.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I have to hold myself accountable, especially lately.
There
But
you go. There you go.
um,
Good comment for our viewers who want to do a book. You have to hold yourselves accountable in writing.
yeah.
So to hold yourself accountable, you say, well, I've got to do one chapter a week, or I've got to, how do you, is that what you do? And by the way, I'm not saying it has to be polished. I'm saying you know, like what we used to say was and I believe to that, by the way, of getting it all done and then going back, of basically what we would call throwing up on the page, and then, you know,
Hemingway said the first draft of anything is shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
that's
you
true.
can't edit what's not done.
Yeah.
If you look at
So
it
the
that
real
way.
writing starts from the editing.
Mhm.
Hey man,
Yeah.
when I bought your book, I didn't know the listeners. I want to show you this, but I got this cool sticker
Mm.
Yeah.
Hey, Sam, you should.
and this cool bookmark.
Wow.
But my problem is, AJ, I got a signed copy, but it's not personalized, you know?
But that's good.
Oh.
You can sell it. You can sell it. It doesn't.
Well,
have to
I'm gonna be at Bob's Bay Books in Bloomington, Illinois on May 10th. May 10th.
Okay.
I
Tuesday
believe.
weekend.
Yes.
Well,
So
I hope to hook up with you then.
yeah, so come on by the shop.
Yeah.
Be like 10 to noon. So
You
I'll
know
have books.
what's the name of the Sam? One of our first interviews, Troy, who has American
Yeah, the
horror,
American
fonts,
horror.
American
It's American Gothic or American. He writes nonfiction.
Ooh.
nonfiction, but all about mystery,
Spooky stuff, haunted houses.
yeah.
Lore.
And, he's lives in your area. You know,
He's in I think he's in Alton. I think he lives down in Alton now.
me, that's an area.
It's an area. I mean, it's drivable from here, right?
Oh, man, I drove to Kenosha last weekend. I'm driving to Indianapolis this week.
I think he would be an
Go
interesting guy for you
Virginia.
because
Hey, we got to take a picture. We're down to it.
yeah.
Let's look at the screen like I'm taking a picture. 1, 2, 3. All right, that'll work. That may be the best one ever.
All right. Well, listeners, if we disappear, it's because we end and it just cut out. But
because we're too cheap to pay for the extended version.
Thank you for joining us. You know, we may have to do that. Thank you for this happens every time. Thank you for joining us. But Troy,
look at AJ. Look him up on our podcast site, and
but you can get ideas from him for our stuff.
He does all kinds of research, tons of research, local.
He'll say, I mean, he like do seances at his.
Yeah, he goes to seances. He goes to haunted houses. He goes to.
He lives real close to you. And
hey, did you see? By the way, did you see our shirts?
I did see. I didn't see the full shirt, but I like mediocrities. I may have to snag one of those.
Yeah. Well,
hey, maybe we should get our own swag going, Mark.
Well, we've tried. You're the one who's got it all. I've got the one shirt, but you've got coffee cups and bed sheets and all kinds of shit.
Hell yeah.
It's easy to do.
Well, listen,
Did you say bed sheets?
Yeah, on your race car bed, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly. That's what Sammy's got, a race car bed for adults. But
Good. Enough. As good enough.